My boss just asked me to host his entire family for a week. I refused. I have changed a couple of details and left certain things vague for privacy reasons, but the gist of it is he is considered the CEO's golden boy, and I am considered the CEO's mother. When Bob and his wife had a child, she became a stay-at-home mom with the CEO. His name is going to be Wiener because he is one. The CEO, Richard, found this very admirable, and he promoted Bob. You know, the whole song and dance of Bob becoming a family man. It didn't seem to matter that he was showing up later and later to the office and missing more and more and more work. And when he was in the office, he was often sleeping. He wasn't my charge, so I let it go and focused on those who were under me. About a year ago, Bob and Co. had to leave due to a family emergency which required them to move across the country. Another promotion happened as soon as they settled. At this point, he went from being under me in the hierarchy to being at my level and became even more unreachable. Well, Bob got promoted again a couple months ago to the highest level he can be, and now he outranks me. So imagine my surprise when he texts me asking me to house his wife, toddler, and dog for the week in January, and mentions asking the company to pay for his accommodations as an afterthought if that didn't work. Gobsmacked, I tell you. Utter gobsmacked I was. My dude, I haven't gotten a raise in 4 years and just got slightly demoted for having the audacity of, check notes, having a baby. That is another fun tale of Richard acting like a spoiled older child with a new baby sibling for another day. Despite nothing with my work changing, while you are praised for being such a good dad, get the absolute F out of here. Thanks for listening to my story. I'm going to go take an aspirin before my meeting with Richard, where he will without a doubt mention it. There are some comments. Vivian Diane says, my personal life is not a company perk for your promotion. Bansidhi says, no is a complete sentence. Go to HR. Start sending out resumes. Opie says, don't worry, I already said no, and I am already looking from an incident with Richard 3 weeks ago. My flab is just gasted. They thought to ask. Hugh Gnu says, heck no, is a more complete sentence. NH Hot Mom says, why would she go to HR? It's in bad taste. It's asking a huge favor of a coworker. It's not illegal. There would be zero reason HR should get involved in that. OP, just say no. Good gosh, Bob. I'm a working mom of a small child. I have to get up and out the door to daycare. I have a whole second job at home I go to when I walk out the door here. It's all I can do to manage what I have. I don't have anyone buying my groceries, doing my laundry, running around my dry cleaning. I'm sorry, but no, I'm very overwhelmed. If you're like me, you never complain about what you've got going on at home. In fact, people forget the kids that I carry. An occasional unloading is what these people need, I think. Bob is so out of it, he has no concept of a working spouse. Calvin, not Hobbs, says HR isn't going to do crap against a C-suite person. OP says the main problem is that I'm being punished for having a kid, and this is just another reminder of it, while he is being rewarded at every turn. It is more the system aspect of it that I need to be accommodating at detriment to myself and personal life, or it will affect my career, while he lets his personal life affect his job and gets rewarded. Both Pound says don't go to HR, hire an employment lawyer and sue the company after you find new employment. Save everything you can that proves you were punished for having a kid while Bob was rewarded. Opie says, unfortunately, the field I'm in is male dominated and tiny, so it just isn't worth it. Else I would be getting a reputation. I had another boss tell me my 102-degree fever was just me ovulating, but it was actually pneumonia. I had the Rona that turned into pneumonia and bronchitis. My coworkers always joked that I would be passing away in the hospital and work would bring me to my laptop, but they didn't think that it was real until I was chased down in the parking lot when I tried to leave because I was sick and told to just suck it up because it was just that time. Best thing I can do is just move on and let them realize what they missed, you know? Understanding Mean says, yes, move on, but if the comments were that egregious, and to me it is, once you have that new job, you should still sue for discrimination and hostile work environment. Keep working and get a nest egg for your kid. If you can get some of this stuff in writing, they will be paying for your kid's college, even to an Ivy League. Also, it's not just you. Any woman wanting to work there or enter the field would appreciate it if you at least showed these companies that they can't continue treating women this way without consequences. Will it change their attitudes? Maybe not, but it can change their outward behaviors for the next female employee coming in. Or make HR strengthen their intimidation training and policies to keep them from getting sued again. Don't leave the money on the table. And we do have an update here. So I posted this a month ago where my boss wanted to stay at my house for an entire week with his family. And we are in the final countdown with some very interesting developments. Quick recap. Bob, the CTO, is the family man who wants to bring his entire family, including the dog, to stay at my home for a week to avoid paying hotel fees. Richard is the CEO and, well, a wiener, who keeps rewarding Bob for being a hard-working family man at detriment to his job. So let's start with the minor drama. Bob is on vacation all week, which is good for him. Much earned, I'm sure. Just one small, teeny tiny hiccup. He hasn't told us some very minor details like meeting place or meeting time. This is all going to go well, I'm sure. Now for the intrigue involving Richard. Richard just kind of poofed, vanished off the face of the planet. We don't talk about Bruno style. I brought up his name a few times in meetings over the past month on things that we needed him for, and no one, and I mean no one else in the C-suite will say his name. He is off the payroll, which in some weird oversight I still have access to. Oop. There has been a lot of hush-hush transition meetings with the owner/founder and Bob. So I think he is going to announce his resignation next Monday, which is a mixed bag since it looks like Bob cannot figure out a hotel booking, is on his way to being his successor. Lesai. In my very professional opinion, give him 6 months before he crashes and burns. And it is totally not because 2 weeks ago he told our COO he had a bunch of files and then immediately turned about and asked me where they were. No. So while we ring in the new year, waiting for this cluster F to play out, throw out your wildest theories how this is going to go. I don't think it can be any more insane than this. And as an aside, I have a couple of interviews next week as well. Yay! There are some comments. Smoke Dealers says, it is wild to me that he even suggested to stay at your house. Even my best friend wouldn't dare unless I offer first. Opie says, I consider myself pretty generous. My best friend has her own room here. I have also, in the past, made personalized snack baskets for the interns, including when Bob was one himself. But I, too, am blown away by the gall in asking a subordinate to host his entire family after a major holiday, especially upon learning that he is in the running to be the leader of the Free World Company and knew he was in the running at the time of asking. This account, B&E, says, advocate for yourself while looking elsewhere. How did Bob go from being your intern to your boss? How long did that take? Why doesn't the owner give you a shot? Why would he remove Richard and promote his right-hand Bob? Opie says Richard was CEO. Richard promoted Bob due to the CTO and demoted me for the same reason. Literally, the only factor at play is Bob and I both had kids, and that somehow made Bob look more competent and me less so, because Bob has a wiener and I don't. It sadly happens all the time, unfortunately. The owner merely has majority stakeholder. He has influence, but at the end of the day, he doesn't run the company. He has very little say in the daily operations. Dogmother says, so Bob gets promoted because his wife is a stay-at-home mom and you are demoted for having a baby? Is that even legal where you live? Just look for another job. The audacity of some people. I hope you said no to providing free accommodation to his family. Opie says it shouldn't be, no, but he did it out of the goodness of his heart, so I have more time to be a mom, or I assume so. He didn't tell me, just everyone else. And yes, I have interviews lined up and a boss-free home next week. And that is the end of that story. Find the full episode by searching OK Storytime and the episode number on Spotify.